Hi, my name is Zaha, and I want you to close your eyes and open your mind. You're sitting down by the bank of a river. The only sound you can hear is the constant rush of crystal clear running waters. There are luminescent fish jumping up and down, splashing water onto you. There is soft green grass caressing your feet. You get up, away from the roaring sound of the river, and you turn towards the peaceful number of cottages that line up by the bank. You breathe in the crisp air and get a slight whiff of a baking cake. The smell is so enticing, you can almost taste it. Did you picture that? Was there also an entire world formed in your mind? Was there a world where your own imagination filled in the gaps which were not in the earlier narration? That is the power of imagination. And as for me, young adult novels drove me into the world of idea, creativity, and possibility, into the world of visual storytelling, all through the written word. Now, knowledge is limited, but imagination embraces the entire world. It stimulates progress and gives birth to evolution. Everybody has the ability to imagine, but imagination itself becomes powerful when you turn it into manifestation. Young adult novels are the literal meaning of manifestation. The label young adult refers to a story that tackles the difficult and oftentimes adult issues that arise during an adolescent's journey towards identity, a journey told through a distinctly teen voice. There are so many people who are so quick to dismiss this category of books. I've been questioned with, why do you read books that are so childish? But I never understood that. Because it's these books which you read in your childhood which shape, nurture, and then grow your imagination. They help you think and reason out everything you hear for yourself. They shape the perspective with which you perceive things. It is because of this that you are so much quicker to identify the scenery and settings of the dystopian novels that you read. Because the hard truth is simply this: every dystopian novel idea has originated from the moments of history which we would rather keep hidden. Let me give you an example. The Hunger Games by Suzanne Collins. Now, that book explored ideas of revolution. The upper rich class of Panem, basically the entirety of the capital, had the money and resources to build and uplift the districts underneath them. But instead, they held human games to glorify the fact of their colonialism. They built a society of their structure in such a way that only the rich themselves get richer, while the poor remain where they are forever. Does that sound familiar? It's all around us. In the book Divergent by Veronica Roth, their world was divided into factions. You either fit into a particular faction or you were simply factionless. That is when the government does not know what to do with you, because you're left to starve, to die, to rot. Everything because you're not in their direct line of vision. Their society was built in such a way that you had no will to choose for yourself. It was just bound by rules. Does that sound familiar? It is still all around us. Let's now move on to books that are literally based on our reality. The Hate You Give by Angie Thomas. That book, when I read it, it broke me. The protagonist star was a strong 16-year-old girl who witnessed the death of two of her friends right before her eyes. She rose up in rebellion against the government and its blatant racism, right to the point where she picked up tear gas with her bare hands and threw it right back to the police. That brings me to my next point. Have we ever wondered why the protagonists of YA novels call out to us? Why we so readily immerse ourselves into their story and their fight against their oligarchical governments? Why? It's because in some way, in our own way, we are that protagonist, often fighting some invisible strain of the same cause, often fighting for victims of that cause. I felt elated when I realized that this generation and generations after us will grow up reading books about equality and activism. That the characters in those books will be gender fluid. That there will not be a box to tick. That they will grow up reading about acceptance. Do you remember the picture you mentally painted in your mind in the beginning? Imagine that world, but now let your mind add on to it. Fill in the blanks. What do you see? I see a world which is peaceful, that bears none of the restrictions and the violence that we see today. This is a world which is possible if only the children grow up reading and listening to unbiased books and news. The world you imagined is a possibility. If only adults had the imagination of people like us, young adults. Thank you.